had been and am, but why will you say that I am mad? The disease sharpened my senses, not dulled them, not destroyed them. Above all was the sense of hearing acute. I heard many things in heaven and in earth. I heard some things in hell. How then will you say that I am mad? Hearken and observe how healthily, how calmly I tell you the whole story. I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. He'd never given me insult. For his gold I had no desire. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. He had the eye of a vulture, all pale blue with a film over it. Whenever it looked upon me, my blood ran cold. And so, by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man and thus rid myself of the evil eye forever. Now this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing. But you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded, with what caution, with what foresight, with what dissimulation I went to work. I was never kinder to the old man than in the whole week before I killed him. And every night, just at midnight, I turned the latch of his door and opened it. Oh, so gently. And when I had made an opening sufficient for my head, you would have laughed to see how cunningly I thrust it in. It took me a whole hour to place my head well within the room so that I could see him as he lay upon his bed. And when I had done this, I undid a lantern cautiously. Oh, so cautiously. Cautiously, for the hinges creaked. Until at length, a single dim ray shot out from the lantern and fell full upon the vulture eye. And this I did for 7 long nights, every night, just at midnight. But I always found the eye closed, and so it was impossible to do the work. For it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye. Upon the 8th night, I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. A watch's minute hand moves more quickly than did mine. To think there I was opening the door, little by little, and he not even to dream of my secret deeds or thoughts. I fairly chuckled at the idea, and perhaps he heard me, for he moved on the bed suddenly as if startled. You may think that I drew back, but no! I knew his room was black as pitch with a thick darkness, and so I knew he could not see the opening of the door. And I kept pushing on steadily. Steadily. I had my head in and was about to open the lantern when my thumb slipped on the tin fastening and the old man sprang up in bed crying out, "Who's there?"
Who's there?
I kept very still and said nothing. For a whole hour I did not move a muscle, and in the meantime I did not hear him lie down upon his bed. I knew he was still sitting up in bed, listening, hearkening to the death watches in the wall, just as I had done many a night, just at midnight. Presently, I heard a slight groan, and I knew it was the groan of mortal terror. I knew what the old man felt, and I pitied him, although I fairly chuckled at heart. I knew he had been lying awake ever since the first slight noise when he had turned in the bed. His fears had ever since been growing upon him. He had been trying to fancy them causeless, but could not. "It is only the wind in the chimney," he's been saying. Or perhaps it is a mouse crossing the floor. Maybe it is a cricket who has made a single chirp. Yes, he had been trying to comfort himself with these suppositions, but found all in vain. All in vain. For death, in approaching, had stalked with his black shadow before him and enveloped its victim. And it was the mournful influence of this unperceived shadow that caused him to feel the presence of my head within the room. When I had waited a long time, very patiently, without hearing him lie down, I resolved to open a very, very little crevice in the lantern. So I opened it, you cannot imagine how stealthily, until at length, a simple, dim ray, like the thread of a spider, shot out from the lantern and fell full upon the vulture eye. It was wide open, and I grew furious as I gazed upon it. I saw it with perfect distinctness, all pale blue with a hideous veil over it, but I could see nothing else of the old man's face or person, for I had directed the ray as if by instinct precisely upon the damned spot. And have I not told you that what you mistake for madness is but an over-acuteness of the senses? Now I say, there came to my ears a low, dull, quick sound, such as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I knew that sound well, too. The beating of the old man's heart, and it increased my fury as the beating of a drum stimulates a soldier into courage. And yet I refrained and kept still. I tried how best I could to maintain the ray upon the eye. In the meantime, the hellish tattoo of the heart increased. It grew quicker and quicker and louder. And louder every instant. Do you mark me well? I have told you that I am nervous, and so I am. So now I say, at this dead hour of night, amid the dreadful silence of that old house, so strange a noise as this excited me into uncontrollable terror. And now a new anxiety seized me. The sound would be heard by a neighbor. The old man's hour had come. She shrieked once, and only once, and I dragged him to the floor and pulled the heavy bed over him, and then I smiled gaily to find the deed so far done. But for many minutes the heart beat on with a muffled sound. This, however, did not vex me. It would not be heard through the wall. And then it ceased. The old man was dead. I removed the bed and examined the corpse. Yes, he was stone dead. I placed my hand upon the heart and held it there for many minutes. There was no pulsation. Yes, he was stone dead. His eye would trouble me no more. You still think me mad. You will think so no longer when I describe with what precautions I took for the concealment of the body. First, I cut off the arms and the legs and the head and dismembered the corpse. And then I took up three planks from the flooring and deposited all between the scantlings. Then I replaced the boards so cunningly, so cleverly, that no human eye, not even his, could detect anything wrong. When I had made an end to these labors, it was 4 o'clock, still dark as midnight. There was nothing to wash out, no blood stain of any kind, no spot whatsoever. I had been too wary for that. Not had caught it all. As the bell sounded the hour, there came a knocking at the street door. So I went down to open it with a light heart, for what had I now to fear? There were 3 gentlemen who introduced themselves with perfect suavity as members of the police. A shriek had been heard in the night, so suspicion of foul play aroused, and they had been deputed to search the premises. I bade my visitors welcome. The shriek I said with my own in a dream. The old man I mentioned was absent in the country. I took my visitors all over the house, led them at length to his chamber, showed them his treasures secure, undisturbed. In the wild enthusiasm of my perfect confidence, I brought in chairs and desired my guests here to sit and rest from their labors, while I, in the wild audacity of my own perfect triumph, placed my seat upon the very spot which posed the corpse of my victim. I was singularly at ease. My manner had convinced the gentlemen, and they were satisfied. We sat and chatted of familiar things, but ere long I felt myself grow pale and wished them gone. My head ached. I had fancied a ringing in my ears. The sound grew and gained definiteness. It grew louder. A low, dull, quick sound, such as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. But I talked more freely and with a heightened voice to get rid of the feeling. But the noise grew louder, and louder, and louder. And I spoke more quickly, more vehemently. I gasped for breath, but the officers heard it not. It grew louder, and louder, and louder. Anything was better than this agony. I felt I must scream or die. Villains, I shrieked. Dissemble no more. Here, I admit the deed. Here is the beating of his hideous